Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a garden and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sight like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is a ton of month where a lot of the content that we have here on the channel is me spoiler heavy. So I do thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming you've already hit the like button, because hitting the like button is the fastest way to bring Boruto back to life. And given the fact that Kawaki is currently smoking that Boruto pack right now, you gotta smash that like button for Boruto. Now, getting right into it, I wanted to look at some of the fan suggestions that people have for Boruto Uzumaki being revived. Right now, the community is all traumatized over the fact that Boruto got a huge hole in his chest because Kawaki decided to help Boruto cosplay as a Hollow from Bleach. It's for that reason we've had numerous theories on how to bring Boruto back, and I wanted to look over what some of those theories were and how likely they were. For this video, we're going to be looking at the lore from the Naruto manga, so all 72 volumes of Naruto, and we're going to be looking at some of the fan theories that really stand out, because basically we're going to have one set of observations based on the facts that we know, and the other one's going to be based off of fan speculation. Now, for this one, we're going to start with just the facts. So right now, if you look at the 72 volumes of the Naruto manga, it's pretty cut and dry when it comes to reviving somebody from the dead. In every case, with the special exception of Orochimaru's curse mark and Orochimaru's living corpse jutsu, every method of revival from the series comes at the expense of the caster's life or a sacrifice to the caster. And this does include rinnerebirth, which I'll be touching on later in the video to explain some information that people overlook when it comes to rinnerebirth. There was a major retcon that was made in the series. So one popular suggestion is that Sasuke will appear out of nowhere and use Izanagi to revive Boruto, because as you recall, Izanagi is a forbidden Uchiha clan genjutsu that allows the user to rewrite reality during the time that the genjutsu is active, which allows them to reverse severe injuries that they might receive in battle, and they can even rewrite their own deaths. Now, in the manga, this was only applicable to the caster themselves, not to anyone or anything else around them. However, it is worth noting that Naruto Shippuden has filler scenes that explore all these random Uchiha that we've never seen before spamming Izanagi. So in that filler portion of the episode, we see that they're able to extend the effects of Izanagi to the other people around them that are in the vicinity of the caster. For the sake of this video, I'm going to include that information, even though traditionally I don't include filler in these discussion videos. The problem with Sasuke using Izanagi to revive Boruto is that, well, first of all, we don't even know if Sasuke's there on the battlefield. And is he in hiding, just watching everything unfold, and somehow he managed to avoid being detected by Momoshiki, and Ada just happened to forget to tell Code that Sasuke was in the area? Which, if Sasuke were in the area, I believe that she would alert Code to Sasuke's presence, because her goal is to get her hands on Kawaki, and Sasuke is one of those guys, he has zero fucks given. He will cut your head off the first chance that he gets. So I would think that Ada would warn Code of this. Now, assuming that Sasuke is on the battlefield and he is hiding, in order for Sasuke to perform Izanagi to reverse Boruto's death, preconditions have to be met. Sasuke would have needed to been watching the battle with his Sharingan active, which is likely the case because he'd be studying the movements via the Sharingan Eye of Insight and looking for an opening to attack. He would also have needed to already weave the hand signs for the rabbit, the boar, and the ram, something that is directly stated to be required for Izanagi, which we know from the jutsu description in the jutsu data file in Naruto Data Book 4, which is also something backed up in the manga. If Sasuke did all of this before Boruto got his lethal wound, then using the anime filler's logic, Sasuke could apply the effects of Izanagi to Boruto and Sasuke could revive him. However, if Sasuke did not do this, Izanagi cannot be used to cast the effects of something that happens before the genjutsu is in effect. It specifically negates the damage done after the genjutsu is done. Even in the case of Madara, when he used it against Hashirama and he had the Izanagi transcription seal, It was something already pre-programmed in the event that he died fighting Hashirama. Sasuke would have to pre-program his eye to revive Boruto in case Boruto died, and Sasuke would have to see it. Now, unless we think Sasuke did something like this and he has this big brain thought that Boruto would be killed by Kawaki, or he has it foreseen that Boruto's going to die, then Izanagi can be ruled out. I give this one a 3 out of 10 likelihood. Now, up next, we have Chiyo's Kyosho Tensei Jutsu, which is the reanimation jutsu that's used to revive Gaara. Now, this jutsu allows the user to transfer the life force to the recipient, and it uses chakra as a binding agent to carry out the transfer. Now, this one's a little tricky. So, if you think Boruto's alive but is in the process of dying, the databook entry does make it clear that it can reverse a fatal wound, which in turn won't kill the caster, but it'll just leave them completely chakra depressed. Now, if you think that Boruto is dead, then this jutsu can bring him back to life, but it's going to come at the cost of the user's life. Now, this is classified as a forbidden jutsu for the Sand Village. Naruto did see the jutsu performed, and since Naruto has gained knowledge of all things chakra related, it is possible that he knows how to perform the jutsu. Now, if Boruto's merely dying, then Naruto can reverse the damage being done and Naruto stays alive. If Boruto's dead, then Naruto can revive him using the jutsu, but then that means that Naruto's dead himself. Given that we don't know if Naruto knows his jutsu, I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 10. The only way this could jump up is if Kakashi, because he had his Sharingan active when Chiyo used the jutsu, if Kakashi remembered how to perform the jutsu and Kakashi gave up his life to save Boruto. That's the only way that this would work, and that's a separate video that I have somebody editing now. Now, I've seen people state Edo Tensei could be used to revive Boruto. The only problem with Edo Tensei is that you would need to sacrifice another person to perform the jutsu to revive Boruto. After Boruto's revived, he's basically a zombie ninja. Even if he reverses the hand seals, it doesn't bring him back to life. That just means that he can't be forced to return to the Pure Land by the caster. Boruto in the time skip is clearly alive, so I think we can rule out Edo Tensei, along with Naruto even agreeing to use such a crude method to revive his son. I've seen people say, what about the rinnerebirth? Sasuke could use it to revive Boruto. Now, this one is the only one where things get really tricky. So if we go by Kishimoto's statement in Databook 3 about once something is a part of you, it never truly goes away, then you could jump through some logic loopholes and say that Sasuke should be able to perform a weakened, watered down version of the rinnerebirth by using the outer path. And there is some evidence that, hey, maybe you should be able to use some of those powers, just given the fact that Shisui, Madara, Itachi all were able to use their Sharingan abilities, in particular the Susanoo, even after losing eyes or eyes going blind or having no eyes at all. However, the Boruto's anime did add a scene where you have Sakura checking Naruto and Sasuke, and they did it for that reason, to basically stress to the viewers that their powers are gone completely. Now, the only way that this would be plausible is if Hagoromo comes back from the afterlife and gives Sasuke another rinnegan, which it should be worth noting. Naruto Databook 4 does state that Sasuke's rinnegan was entrusted to him by Hagoromo. While Kabuto did give Sasuke those Hashirama cells, and they were enhanced Hashirama cells when he performed the medical ninjutsu to heal him, which would count as the Indra chakra inside of Sasuke mixing with the Ashra chakra inside of Hashirama cells. It would have taken him a couple of decades to awaken that eye, similar to how it took Madara the time between the battle with Hashirama and the Second Great Ninja War, which takes place 20 years after the First Great Ninja War. And that's during the time when Madara somehow managed to give Nagato his eye. Even if that was indeed the case, we run into a bigger issue here, which is the price of the jutsu. Originally in Naruto Chapter 449, Konan said that she believed that chakra levels were linked to the survival of the caster when it came to this jutsu, and for the longest time, and even now, people say you need chakra to survive it, because Nagato using rinnerebirth is the most famous scene that we have of this jutsu. However, what a lot of people seem to overlook is that this was later retconned later on in the war arc via several statements that the rinnerebirth came at the expense of the caster's life, which is something that Naruto Databook 4 directly states in the jutsu file, that the usage of this jutsu is a self-sacrifice for the caster. Given that it was always Madara's plan to have Nagato sacrifice himself to revive Madara. Is it really that crazy to think that Obito and Zetsu lied to Nagato, just like they lied to him about why they were actually collecting the Biju? Is it crazy to say that they lied to him about rinnerebirth being connected to your chakra levels? I don't think so. He was always a pawn. Zetsu, Obito, and Madara each refer to this as being a life-for-life jutsu. And the data book backs this up. You have more reliable narrators than somebody like Conan, who was a pawn in a bigger picture. And before anybody brings up, oh, well, Obito survived after using it, you got to remember that Obito also had the Ten Tails husk inside of him. That Ten Tails husk is directly stated to have an enormous life force, so much of an enormous life force he was able to survive Biju extraction, and he also had Zetsu directly extending his life force. I'm not saying it's not in character for Sasuke to revive Boruto if this was an option that was available to him. However, Sasuke's rinnegan went poke and Hagoromo shows no signs of descending from ninja heaven to hand out another rinnegan. So I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 10. Now, I've seen people say, what about the filler episode where you have in Naruto Shippuden the guy who was Sora's father? He used a jutsu that reanimated people in mind and body. And given its filler, I'm gonna toss it out. I don't think that this is going to be likely because Kazuma was never referenced in the manga at all. The same is true when it comes to Ryu Zetsu's life reanimation jutsu, which would be even wilder to suggest because that is a Kekkei Genkai that we saw in Naruto Shippuden's movie Blood Prison. Unless someone from her clan is inside of Konoha, I don't see that occurring. For both of these, I'm breaking my rule and I'm gonna say that no theory is below a 1 because technically anything is possible in this series, but I'm gonna give this one a 0. I'm fairly confident this shit ain't happening. Now, Orochimaru's living corpse jutsu wouldn't apply here either because Boruto is dead and there's nothing to suggest that he knows the jutsu. This brings us to the fan theories, and some of the fan theories actually make more sense than some of the stuff we've seen in the lore. So I've already done a video on Boruto's Jogan being used as a method for revival, which I recommend checking out because I'm not going to rehash those methods here. Now, I've seen people say that Momoshiki can heal Boruto if he's on the brink of death, if he isn't dead, since karma has shown the ability to heal wounds. And if that does end up being the case, that Momoshiki is able to heal him, I'm going to say this right now. Kawaki severely dropped the ball here, worse than Thor did when he didn't go for Thanos' head in Infinity War. We know based on the manga that from Amato's words that a vessel for Otsutsuki, if the vessel were to be killed before their karma could hit 100% extraction, which is a reminder, Boruto is not at 100% extraction yet, and those pills that Amato gave him were meant to slow down the extraction process. If you kill the vessel before they hit 100%, then the Otsutsuki can be prevented from revival, which is the whole reason why Amato, Sasuke, and Kage's, and even Boruto himself stated that Boruto needed to die. Now, all of this hinges on, do you think Amato's telling the truth here? And I've said for a while, I don't trust Amato, but I also said that he practices selective honesty, where you have truth mixed in with lies and not all the truth is revealed, so as to keep people dependent on him. For this, I'm going to say 5 out of 10 because we don't know if Kawaki pulled a Thor here or not. The next idea that I've seen is that Amato's cyborg is actually a Boruto clone, and that at some point through all of this, Amato made a Boruto clone and upgrade the body with ninja tech, and the only thing left is to have Boruto's soul revive into this clone. Now, for this to work, we'd have to assume that Amato does have a way to speed up the progress of the karma seal, just like he had a way to slow it down. At which case, if Boruto does give the clone that karma seal beforehand, and Amato's able to speed up the process, then theoretically Boruto could revive. Honestly, I like this idea enough. I'm going to hold back some points because I'm going to be sending this off to an editor to work on a video for this. So for that video, you should be expecting that top of the MOOC pristine editing that you've seen on a few videos, so I've gotten editors to do them. For this one, I don't have a rating. I'm not going to say it's impossible though, and it low-key makes quite a bit of sense. Now, this last idea that I've seen is that Boruto somehow planted the karma seal on Code, and that Boruto and Kawaki are playing the long game here, where if they're going to see Code is able to have a second Karma Seal, one that's compatible with Boruto, then find a way to keep Code in the dark or confined long enough that Boruto can revive into his body. For this, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's worthy of its own video, and it's something that technically we have foreshadowing for. Just being blunt with you guys, while we don't know if Boruto's going to be brought back to life, I'm just going to keep it 100 with you and say that I think that whatever means of revival we're going to have, I think it's going to be something unique to the series. I don't think we're going to see a sharing agreement with Boruto and Momoshiki, just because Momoshiki's so close to being revived into Boruto's body. There's no real incentive for him to make a deal with Boruto when he's so close to revival. However, I want to know from you guys, which of these methods do you think is the most likely? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.